11. Halfway glass. You are in an empty room with a glass of water. The glass is a right cylinder that looks like it is about half full, but you are not quite sure. What is the most accurate way, without spilling any water, to determine whether the glass is half full, more than half full, or less than half full? 12. A hanging chain. A thin 4-foot-long chain is suspended by its ends and nailed to a wall. Both nails are level with one another and parallel to the floor. Because of gravity, the middle part of the chain hangs down towards the floor. If the vertical length of the chain is 2 feet, what is the distance between the two nails? 13. The loaded coin. You and your best friend have loved the same girl since kindergarten. After years and years of discussions, arguments, and fights, you have both decided to settle the matter with a coin toss. The only coin available to you is an old wooden nickel, and you are certain that it comes up heads more than 50% of the time. How can you be sure to have a fair contest that is based purely on chance by only flipping this coin? 14. Who makes what? You and 2 of you friends would like to know the average of all of your salaries. You are each self-conscious about the amount of money you make and will not tell one another your salaries. What can you do to figure out the average salary? 15. Water buckets. You have a 5-gallon bucket, a 3-gallon bucket, and a water faucet. How can you accurately put 4 gallons of water into the 5-gallon bucket? 16. Prison escape. A man is imprisoned in a 10-foot by 10-foot by 10-foot room. The walls are made of concrete, the floor is made out of dirt, and the only openings are a locked door and a skylight. The man has a small shovel and starts to dig a hole in the floor. He knows that it is impossible to tunnel out of the prison cell, but he continues to dig anyways. What is the man's plan? 17. The dove in the hand. An old wise man lived in a little home on a hill. One morning, 2 young boys from the town decided they wanted to fool the wise man. They took a dove with them and knocked on the old man's door. When he answered, one of the boys said to him, "Let's see how smart you really are. Is the dove I'm holding behind my back dead or alive?" The old man smiled and replied, "I cannot answer you because I know you are trying to trick me." Despite knowing the condition of the dove, why wouldn't the wise old man answer the young boy? 18. Stones, jars, life, death. You are a prisoner in a strange land. You have been sentenced to death but are being given one chance to live. The king of the land has decided to let you play a simple game to determine your fate. You are presented with 2 clay jars, one containing 100 white stones, and one containing 100 black stones. You are allowed to redistribute these stones any way that you like, but when you are finished all stones must be in the jars. After you have finished, both jars will be shaken up, you will be blindfolded, and you will be presented one of the 2 jars at random. You will pick one stone out of the jar given to you. If the stone is white, your life will be spared. If the stone is black, you will be executed immediately. How should you redistribute the stones to give yourself the best chance of survival? 19. Immanuel the clock setter. Immanuel was on his way out the door to visit an old friend across the village when he realized that his grandfather's clock had stopped and no longer displayed the correct time. This was the only clock in his home and the man owned no watches or other time-telling devices. Without disappointment, Immanuel left his home and walked roughly 3 miles to his friend's house. He glanced at the friend's wall clock as he entered the house and after visiting for a few hours set off back home along the same route. He walked at the same pace home and had no idea of knowing how long his trip back took him. Regardless, when Immanuel got back home he immediately went to his grandfather's clock and set it to the correct time. How did he know what time it was? 20. The coin flipping game. Your friend has a coin and asks you if you want to play a game. I will flip this coin until the number of heads flipped is equal to the number of tails flipped. Then I will give you $1 for each time I flip the coin. What are the chances that you play this game with your friend once and he pays you exactly $8? 21. The scale of all scales. You have in front of you a standard balance scale. What is the fewest number of weights that you would need to be able to accurately weigh any object that weighs between 1 and 100 pounds, rounded up? What are the weights? 22. Something wicked which way comes? Jim woke up with intentions to go to the carnival that just arrived in town. He left his home and headed towards the town square, not quite sure if he was walking in the right direction. He approached the first person he saw and asked them, "Am I headed towards the carnival?" Unfortunately, this person was unable to speak and simply rubbed their stomach in response. Jim knew that this meant either yes or no, but was not sure which. With just one additional question, Jim was able to find out. What did Jim ask? 23. Water buckets. You have a 12-gallon bucket, an 8-gallon bucket, and a 5-gallon bucket. The 12-gallon bucket is full of water and the other two are empty. Without using any additional water, how can you divide the 12 gallons of water equally so that 2 of the 3 buckets have exactly 6 gallons of water in them? 24. Making change. What is the maximum value of change that you can have in US coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, without being able to give someone exact change for a $1 bill? 25. Race to the finish. A wise old man is on his deathbed and must decide which of his 2 sons will inherit his large fortune. He calls both of his sons into the room and says to them, "The 2 of you will ride your horses around the track in a race to determine who will inherit my fortune. Whichever horse crosses the finish line last will win my entire fortune for its owner." The 2 men sit puzzled for a few minutes, trying to understand how to make sense of a race where the losing horse wins. After a while they both give up and ask their father for advice regarding this situation. He tells them something, and as soon as he finishes his sentence, the 2 brothers rush out to the track and race. What did the wise old man say to his 2 sons? 26. 5 hats in a box. There is a box in front of you with 3 black hats and 2 white hats inside. 3 perfectly intelligent men, Alan, Bob, and Cal, who each know the contents of the box, are blindfolded and asked to reach into the box, take a hat, and place it on their heads. They do not know which color hat they have taken and cannot see the hats on their own heads. You then place the 3 men in a single file line in such a way that after you remove their blindfolds, Alan can see Bob and Cal's hats, Bob can see Cal's hat, and Cal cannot see anyone's hat. The men are required to face forward and are not allowed to turn around. You ask Alan if he knows the color of the hat he is wearing and he replies, "No." You then ask Bob if he knows the color of the hat he is wearing and he too replies, "No." Finally, you ask Cal if he knows the color of the hat he is wearing, and he answers, "Actually I do." What color hat was Cal wearing and how did he figure this out? There is a table in front of you with an electronic scale and 10 groups of 10 coins. You know that one of these groups of coins contains all counterfeit coins, but you don't know which group it is. You know that the real coins each weigh 1 ounce and that the counterfeit coins only weigh half an ounce. Using just the coins and the scale, what is the fewest number of weighings you have to make to find the counterfeit coins? 28. 2 hourglasses. There is a table in front of you with 2 hourglasses. One contains 7 minutes of sand and the other contains 11 minutes of sand. Using just these 2 hourglasses, how can you accurately time 15 minutes? 29. Last words. You have committed a terrible crime, and tomorrow morning you will be taken to the town square and executed. The executioner has taken a liking to you and decides to do you a favor and allow you a choice in your execution method. You are allowed to make one final statement. If this statement is true, you will be hanged in the morning. If this statement is false, you will be beheaded in the morning. What should your final statement be? 30. An evil mayor. A dilemma has come up in your village between a farmer, his daughter, and the mayor. The farmer owes the mayor a sum of money that he cannot pay back, and the mayor is in love with the farmer's daughter. This is upsetting to the daughter, as she finds the mayor to be an evil, ugly, and cruel man. The mayor tells the farmer that he will settle the debt in front of the whole village by playing a simple game. The mayor will take a black stone and a white stone and place them in a bag. The farmer's daughter will reach into the bag and draw one of the stones out in front of the whole village. If she draws the white stone, the farmer's debt would be forgiven and everything would return to normal. If she draws the black stone, she will be forced to marry the mayor and the debt will be forgiven. Considering the situation, the farmer has no choice but to agree to this settlement. The daughter knows the mayor too well and believes that he will cheat and put 2 black stones into the bag. What can she do to get out of marrying the mayor and have her father's debt forgiven?